Michael Cera. Why is he in this movie?
I actually had dreams about this very meeting.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to 3 Beers in a Movie. I'm Ryan, I'm here with John, and today we are watching Dream Scenario, A24's newest movie with Nick Cage. This movie came out in 2023, and the director is Christopher Borgli. We'll come back with our opinions.
All in all, that movie, if I were to have to describe it as something, it would be something. That movie had so many jump scares, let me tell you. Not in jump scares in the casual sense of a horror fan, like something pops out, loud music, but I mean like Michael Cera coming in out of nowhere.
About halfway through the movie, it just takes it completely flips upside down.
Yeah, like I think it goes from being like a very melodramatic thing, from like the acting standpoint to like nothing really happening to everything is happening at once.
Yeah.
Keep up and pay attention.
I mean, it starts out very much like you said before they get to that Michael Cera scene. It's like this guy is a new famous guy and he's having his 15 minutes of fame before it all goes bad.
Yeah, and they even mention one spoiler alert, guys. Like that should be like number one thing. We're more than 3 beers in at this point. We may be above 5, but once it goes from like it goes from a solid 5 pace to around a 9 to 10 pace, like how quick everything happens, and it's only an hour and a half movie. It's
like hour and a half, hour 45. It's pretty short.
It gets everything done. It gets like the entire rise and fall for all our Chapel Roan fans. Rise and fall of a Midwest princess. They do the home invasion. That's when things start. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, this guy is finally becoming famous. Because, like, once you become famous, it doesn't matter at whatever, like, I seen somebody on TikTok the other day. It's like a person that I just followed, but she recently had a stalker, and it's like, this person isn't well known. How do they have a stalker already?
Yeah, but I think the home invasion scene, I think he's the first one to start having the nightmares. Yeah. That's why he wants to kill him. It's not because he's famous and he's just in his dream waiting there. It's because he probably did something. He probably hurt him in his dream.
This movie is something. I think I would recommend this to like some people we know, like the people that like are really into artsy movies. Mm-hmm. Like, but it is
very artsy, but I think it could have been more. There's a lot of scenes that had a lot of potential that they didn't really dive into.
The scene in the gymnasium,
mm-hmm.
It would have been so much better if they went the way that I wanted to, like, because there kind of needs to be this reason for fear, which I think they get it at the end of that scene, which when they all get up and leave, mm-hmm. and it's like, oh, they're that afraid of them. But like, it would have been cool to have one of them be the actual main person in that dream and him just take out the entire gymnasium of students in the corner. But I mean, I'm not sure how ratings went into this.
For a movie called Dream Scenario, there's not a lot of dreams. They don't show nearly enough to implement him.
I think counting in my head, which I'm more than 3 beers in, I think I counted 6 or 7 that you actually see the dreams.
Yeah.
And then when you get into the nightmares part, it's more like you see glimpses and you don't see like the entire scenario play out.
Yeah.
But
which, I mean, they have a whole scene of him in his classroom where they're like rambling out their scene or their dreams.
Yeah.
And it's like, we get that he's just standing there. I don't need to see that he's just standing there. I think they could have used that time better.
Yeah, I think it's okay. See, I think there's something there, which I'm, as I said, more than 3 beers in. But I've been trying to figure that out since the start of the movie. So, like, when he's just like not doing anything, people love him. People are like into him, and like there's a scene in the movie where you have Molly, which is one of the people that work at Thoughts TM, whatever it is, starring Michael Cera. But she's the one person that we know is having sexual fantasies about him, and then when he can't perform, that's when stuff starts going south. And I don't know how much of that he has influence of, because like at the end there with that scene with the commercial people, they were like, they specifically said that he was able to kind of control it at the time.
Well, they have a whole ad in the middle of this movie.
Not in the middle, like the last 10 minutes.
But it's for this device where other people, and they have like the hype house, but it's the dream house or something.
Which I think those are actual influences.
I think you're right.
Because I think one is in a Dave Portnoy, I think it's like the Best Friends pod or something like that. But it's another podcast, and I think they got famous off TikTok, and I think this is kind of like how everybody has a chance to be famous, and everybody has a chance to be a household name, and with that you have the possibility of getting canceled, which happens to him around 75% of the movie.
Yeah.
Where everything just starts going bad. Like, it's when he starts questioning his wife's loyalty, like with, is it Otis? Or what's that guy's name?
Chris.
Chris. Is Chris there? And I think that just goes into the whole, this movie is about somebody's rise and fall from like being through his 15 seconds of fame. Like, there's nothing more.
I mean, like, they had scenes of people dressing up as him for Halloween. They had they were gonna make him into a Sprite ad, but the second that someone had a bad dream about him, everyone hated him. I think, in my opinion, the best scene in the movie was when he was trying to get into his daughter's play, and he accidentally hurts the teacher.
Yeah.
And you can see like the fear on her face. I don't even know if she had a dream about him, because she didn't say that in the parent meeting, but you can see everyone in the audience. You can see his daughter on stage, and like the fear in Nick Cage's face when he's like,
I don't know how much of it was actually her like saying that the other parents have been having dreams, because I'm not sure if the whole thing was, if the authority of the school has a dream, then she could just say, the parents have the dreams. So
I think it was the children having the dreams, because even his daughter had one.
Yeah, and like she was afraid of her dad and like with all these scenes happening, it was very quick, a very downfall, quick, slippery slope. But that scene when he enters the room is just crazy, and they all have him tackled, and then fade to black, and then TV ad. It was crazy. I would like to see what this director has otherwise. Like to see, like, I mean, when we looked up how to say his name, we had like a interview movie, and we were like, we're not getting his name. But I'm sure like he has other short films, other independent films that are probably interesting.
I mean, because the A24 is for small upcoming directors, right?
That's where I think the guy from Midsummer got his start.
Yeah.
Other than when he actually did like student films.
Yeah.
But like, all in all, I think this movie is pretty good. I like it.
It was very slow for me at first, but once I understood like what they were going for and it picked up, it definitely got better. I mean, within the first 5 minutes of the movie, people have already said they're having dreams about him, which I guess you do gotta jump into that kind of quick. But then it just sat there for so long until the switch flipped, and I think that part could have been more condensed.
I think that plays into like the whole becoming famous part, where people start realizing like, hey, I know you from someplace.
Yeah.
And like,
it's like you said, it's almost like the 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's like, his wife like basically got a promotion. He finally got invited to that dinner he wanted, because people were like, this guy's famous. I want to bring him, and then it was the downfall, and it was his cancel culture, and his wife almost got fired. Everyone left the dinner party.
And I mean, I don't know how for or against. I think it could be either or. Pick your poison. Whether this movie's for or against cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, personally, like, seeing the person that Nicolas Cage plays, great performance, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of Nick Cage's probably top 5 performances that I have ever seen on film.
Got nothing on National Treasure, bro.
Got nothing. National Treasures 1 and 2.
And 2? Don't even start it on
I'm not even sure if he's in the TV show.
I don't think he is.
Because the TV show just has Riley, I think, the main, like, secondary character.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's the only, like, character that comes back for that.
Probably.
And then I think it's Malcolm's daughter. That's the main villain.
Dude.
And the only reason I get that is because I watched the first 5 episodes, and she's blonde, and she has, like, an Australian New Zealand accent, and I'm like, that's Malcolm from the first movie. That's probably his daughter. And then I'm
they wouldn't say that?
She never said it yet, but I'm definitely sure that it
that's
probably
the reveal.
happened. Yeah, but there's basically this. That's something that you should watch if you're a National Treasure fan, because it's not necessarily bad. It's just like boring. Like, there's a good second in it where it's like, oh yeah, shit, this is cool, and then you're like, oh no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's like it's taking too long for stuff to happen, and it's like, that's what's good about the National Treasure movies, which we should watch.
Those are pretty good.
You do have, what's his name, the guy from Kickin' It as Ben Franklin's, like,
the guy from Hannah Montana.
Yeah, Jason Earls.
Yeah, Jason Earls.
But he's in it for a split second, and we enjoy him.
That was a crazy. You're like, that was the guy. I'm like, you're insane.
So like one time last summer, me and Ryan and a bunch of friends watched National Treasure 1, or no, it was 2.
It was the first one.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that's where he gets the map from Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
And this guy, I go, yo, that was Jason Earls from Hannah Montana, and everyone's like, no way it was.
It's like the cab driver in the flashback.
Oh yeah, and then it's, oh my god, that movie is so good. That's something we should watch here. But so like the TV show is so like, so there's this hostage situation which they tried to outdo the hostage in the first movie where he jumps off the boat.
Oh yeah.
And they tried to outdo that. And there's no outdoing that. That was freaking great by Nick Cage. And this movie, or this TV show, basically is like, oh, you have this pyramid? No, you don't. It was in our purse the entire time. It's so bad. And then, what's other Nick Cage stuff that we... Oh, Nick Cage is doing another movie coming out soon called Long Legs, where he plays like... Have you seen Black Phone yet?
I've seen Black Phone. I haven't seen the trailer for Long Legs though.
So Long Legs is about this girl FBI agent, and I only say girl because it's like a main point in the trailer, where it's like, are you scared that you're an FBI agent and you're a girl? And she's like, of course I am. And it's about this serial killer called Long Legs, and he's basically out murdering people, and Nick Cage is Long Legs, which I really want to go see in theaters because Nick Cage, I love him. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. You can't hate him except Ghost Rider. I feel like you can properly hate him.
I still haven't seen Ghost Rider, but we had another friend show us a movie one time called God, what was that? Where he's in the arcade. I gotta pull
Willy's
that.
Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland. And Nick Cage doesn't have a single line in the entire movie, but he goes around beating up like these Five Nights at Freddy's animatronics, and then he'll take a pinball break in the middle while all the other guys are getting killed, and then he'll go back to beating the shit out of a bunch of animatronics.
I think he drinks beer the entire time.
I don't know. It's some sort of
It's canned drink.
It's canned drink.
Which is this podcast.
Yeah.
But that movie, the animatronics by... I'm not sure if Jim Henson Company does that. Because Jim Henson did the newest Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. So I'm not sure if they did that or if some other company... I wish I knew it off the top of my head, the other puppet companies. But other than that, like, Nick Cage, I feel like we're glazing him right now.
Maybe just a little bit.
But, like, I feel... I never seen Face Off, and I know that's a big Nick Cage movie. Mm-hmm. And I've always wanted to see the one where he's the guns dealer, and I know that's another big Cage movie.
Kick-Ass is also good.
Kick-Ass
He basically plays Batman.
And he's such a comic book fan. And I love that about Nick Cage. I wish they got him into the MCU. They maybe, with Deadpool 3, we haven't seen yet.
If he is a Ghost Rider.
Rider. And I mean, they might bring him back as that, or at least Deadpool might say something like, ooh, Nick Cage would be good in this movie. And... Because, did you hear who they might have as Ghost Rider?
No.
Daryl from The Walking Dead.
I have heard that is a very famous fan cast for Ghost Rider,
They think that he might be Ghost Rider. I mean, they could also do... I love casting John Boyega from Star Wars as Marvel characters because like, he's great, and I wish Disney would give him...
God, he got done so dirty by Disney.
Oh, no, we're entering a Star Wars. But, oh my God.
He had it all set up for him in the first movie, and they just shot it down.
Have you ever seen the deleted scene where it's the stormtrooper going up to him in the elevator, and he's like, F1NN, whatever his name is. I know you. And it's him when they're on the Starkiller base, or not the Starkiller base because it's the second movie. What was the stupid spaceship name that they came up with? The Death.
Was it like Start? No, it wasn't even Star Destroyer.
It was Snoke ship.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, I never took you as an officer type," and like slapped him on the butt and said, "I'm proud of you." And it was like, that's such a good scene. Keep that in the movie, please. But Star Wars Disney, hopefully Dave Filoni does something with it.
Star Wars, back to the Acolyte.
Power of one, power of two, power of many. That one's on my Apple playlist.
Yeah, we will not be watching the Acolyte on this. Thank God.
I will not put myself up for cruel and unusual punishment.
God, if they just let like Jon Favreau just do everything, then it could be great.
Yeah, like the whole reason. Now this becomes a Star Wars podcast.
Yeah, for real.
But the whole reason, like, I feel like Mandalorian season 3 and Boba Fett didn't do good is because it's just trying to explain the whole line and somehow Palpatine returned.
Not like I agree with the Mandalorian, but not even Boba Fett. Boba Fett could have gone its own direction, but they even fucked up Boba Fett. Like, he's supposed to be this hardened bounty hunter, and I get like he's taking Jabba's place, but make him. He doesn't have to make Tatooine a good place because it's not. That doesn't have to be a hero. Not every character has to be a hero.
And like that's one thing with Disney too. They have such a ability to try and see the good in people and try to make everybody into this hero. Mm-hmm. But if they do that, you can't make every senile you can't make every old hero a senile old man.
Yeah.
Because that's what they did with Han Solo. That's what they did with Luke. It's what they did with basically Boba Fett too. Mm-hmm. Even though like he wants to do good, but everyone's like, "Oh, I've given up the ways of this and that." And it's just like, let them believe what they want to believe. Yeah. Let me pretend and make believe land. Have you seen Tiana's yet?
At Disney, no.
Oh my god! So Disney, one thing they love is continuity, and they're like, "Wow, this Tiana's Bayou Adventure. You know what would be great if we didn't have the main bad guy.
Well, yeah, because it's supposed to be she's. I think the plot of it is she's throwing a New Orleans or what's it called, Mardi Gras party.
Yeah.
She's trying to find musicians, and then they go to the bayou to find the best musicians because like Louis is one of them, and then there's a bunch of frogs and.
But hear me out. Pull some conflict in.
Yeah.
Make the Shadow Man be just Shadow.
They should have had Dr. Facilier. He's such a good character.
Have you seen his face while he's riding the ride?
Who's?
The actor who played Dr. Facilier.
Oh, no.
He looks like he fucking hates it. He's seriously so grumpy. He That's him.
I wouldn't even say he's a grumpy guy in real life. Like
he seems really like down to earth, really like talkative. I mean, he was in, I believe, the Tales to the Hood 2, and then he was in Nope.
He was in Nope, but he voices the Flame King in Adventure Time.
And he's such a great voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, if you watch a movie and close your eyes, you can pick him out.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best point of a voice actor, and being like, hey, I know who that is.
Yeah.
Like, I told you I watched Robots today for the first time, and I don't think I've ever watched Robots before that.
I still haven't seen it.
And I'm like, oh, that's Robin Williams. And then it just brought to me like, hey, he's the genie. He's like, what are the chances that this was his first take? Probably not.
Yeah.
Who knows? But like, some great voice actors, and I wish voice actors got more credit than they do. And I mean, I think we're bringing that back with like all the anime stuff, all the animated TV shows coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Gravity Falls is coming out for season 3 soon.
They got a new season, and then stuff like Into the Spider-Verse or Across the Spider-Verse too. Like those movies it's so highly known. And then the Studio Ghibli movies, like Into the Spider-Verse and Studio Ghibli were the top 2 for best movie. Look at that, for best movie of the year or something. And
like, I'm happy animated movies are getting the like
credit they deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, it makes you look back and see all these movies. Like Up was great.
We just watched Treasure Planet the other day.
Treasure Planet is so good.
What a great movie.
That's a movie that I know we're getting Disney Parks-esque, but like, you can create almost a whole land based on that.
Yeah.
And I wish Disney, if they have $17 billion that are going to their theme parks in the next 20 years that they said, hopefully they make upgrades to their parks and not people like taking away from the parks. Like, I don't want something to be closed for 7 months and be like a downgrade of what it is.
The amount of construction that's going on at Epcot right now is insane. And I was just there the other day, and it's just not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, like, what is it? Test Track is now down.
Yeah.
And it's just like, some people plan out their entire
like family vacation,
family vacation, and it's like, hey, we're gonna go on Test Track. It's what I remember as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And Test Track has always been like one of those big rides at Epcot.
Yeah.
And now, since they have everything up, they're like, you know what? Maybe Test Track is what we need.
just got revamped too.
Yeah, it got 2015, 2016.
Very,
maybe?
very recently.
And like, I think they're taking the entire create your car away. I think that might be one of the things.
Because they put that in, that wasn't in the original ride, and then they put it in, but now they're going to take it out again. They got all those new rooms to do it. What are they going to do with that?
I mean, I don't know.
I think it's dumb that they keep revamping things that don't need to be revamped, like Test Track. Put some effort into, like, maybe make a new Morocco ride, or make a new ride in one of the other countries that you can, like, expand the park and not just change new out every 10 years.
So I wish they would expand parks more, and so that's the whole D23 way of thinking. They have the whole like D23 where they're like, hey, this is the stuff that we come up with. This is the blue sky project that we came up with our Imagineering team. Now, I know that it may sound weird, but we're going to take away Dinosaur in order to create this South American land in Animal Kingdom, and it's like, but people love dinosaurs. People go to the parks for dinosaurs.
Are they taking all of Dinoland USA out?
Yeah, and I mean, hear me out. Maybe take out the parking lot version of Primeval World where that used to be.
Yeah.
And maybe make that into is it Latin America or South? It's like South America, Latin America. Whatever.
I mean, every time I've been to Animal Kingdom, I skip out on Dinoland because it's not great. Dinosaur is such a good ride though, but you don't need that giant jungle gym or the carnival rides or anything that's between Dinosaur and Nemo. You can do whatever you want with that space.
I'm sure there's dinosaurs in South America. I'm sure there's got to find them there. And I mean, if you want to create Indiana Jones attraction, please do it. Please don't base it off the new movie.
Oh God, not the movie.
We guys were not watching that for this.
I thought Crystal Skull was bad, and then I watched Dial of Destiny, and I just couldn't.
You have a new respect for Crystal Skull, though.
Crystal Skull's not bad.
I don't like. I feel like that movie, like, because you had Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and then Last Crusade, and that was your trilogy. And then you had, I believe, 20 to 15 years of no Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
And then you have Crystal Skull, and it was kind of like the same thing that happened to Star Wars. How you had 15 years later.
Yeah. And the prequels. And yeah.
And so I feel like these fandoms have to be like almost forgiving because it's them trying to start anew. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's what happened with Star Wars. But at the end of the day, you had Force Awakens. And Force Awakens, in all things serious, wasn't a terrible movie. It was a rehashing of the original New Hope.
I think they set up like some pretty bad plot points with it, with like Luke is missing and whatever, and then they solidified those bad plot points in the next two movies, where they just like completely ruined what that trilogy could have been.
Yeah, and I think they ruined it too because they can never go back and redo it. They have to keep pushing forward. Mm-hmm. And I think we're getting a new trilogy with Rey Skywalker.
I thought the Skywalker saga was done. But
I think they renewed 3 movies. And then
don't tell me that.
And then I think it's either that or between 3 movies of the Old Republic. Which
do that.
I mean, do that, please. Please give me.
I mean, I want to say do that, but then they're gonna fuck it up.
give me Darth Plagueis. Give me. Have you heard of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Like, I love when movies go back and show you something. Whether it's Harry Potter when they show you the Deathly Hallows and this is what the things are.
Yeah.
Do it in a cool artsy way. Or when they show the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars was a thrown away line in the original trilogy.
Yeah.
It was literally like, nobody's ever heard of that. And were the episodes labeled episode 1?
When New Hope came out, it was just Star Wars. Yeah. It wasn't even a New Hope.
Yeah, so like, I feel like there's a way to go around it with Star Wars and fixing it. And I feel like it's not irreversible yet, and I wish they would do something like, because what is it? The movie where they find the Death Star plans.
Oh, Rogue One.
Rogue One.
That's gonna be like a top 3 Star Wars movie for me.
Yeah, like I think I would place it currently.
I mean, Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith is number 1.
Number 1, and then I would go New Hope and Rogue One.
Yeah. Because
I think those are the 3 most continuous, like, that's what Star Wars is to me.
And, like, I say I like Revenge of the Sith, but you really have to, like, almost watch the prequels back to back to back because the story just flows, I think, very well in those first 3 movies. I mean, they stand alone by themselves pretty good. I think the original trilogy, those are each their own standalone movie, almost. Like, you can sit down and watch any of those and, like, kind of have a semblance of what's going on. But, and in the prequels, you kind of have to watch them in sequence. But I think that's why Revenge of the Sith hits so hard is because you were seeing the fall of Anakin Skywalker, and it's told so well.
Yeah. And I think that just goes to the storytelling of George Lucas. And, like,
Yeah.
even though he gave us Howard the Duck, probably not. I think that's pretty good on Star Wars. Like, I do have 2 questions for you. I will try to answer these myself as well. And this, number 1, if you could be one person's dream, who would you want to be in?
That's such a weird question. I don't know.
Like, if you got to choose whose dream you would be.
If I got to put on the Norio.
That is what it's called in the movie.
That's what it's called.
I wonder if there's an abbreviation for what that means. I mean, I don't know if there was a definitive answer.
Of why they called it that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you gotta go with someone like... I mean, there's 2 ways. You either pick someone that you know well, just to visit them in the dream, or you pick someone that's like... You pick Joe Biden.
You're just like influence.
Yeah.
And in your dreams, Joey.
I had a dream about some man. And
why are you doing an Obama impression?
Because I can't do Joe Biden. I can only do Obama.
Why not say Obama?
Also, Obama's talked a lot about it.
I think this movie may have been written in 2012. Or 20.
It technically takes place in 2016.
Oh yeah, probably.
Yeah. Cut that out.
No, keep it in.
No.
That's the joke. For me, I think it would just be funny, like, just a person that, like, recently yelled at you. And just be... And I'm pointing at them.
Or someone that you see often enough but don't know. So, like, if you have a schedule and you go to, like, the liquor store every Friday... He's the cashier. It's like, you know their work schedule so that they see you. Next time they're like, you.
I know who you are. I see you in my dreams.
In my dreams.
That's a good question. I enjoy that. I go, what is... So number 2, what is the best thing to be famous for? I.e. actor, writer, etc. Like a media influencer.
You gotta do something that's... It's not your face. It's definitely gotta be something... I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
And it's author.
Yeah. Author is my favorite answer.
Your name is known, but your face isn't known well enough. I mean, one of my favorite authors is Brandon Sanderson, but I don't think I could pick him out of a crowd. I just know him by name. So, probably that.
Yeah, I think author... podcast.
Whoa.
Yo, get
Speaking into existence.
but I think probably author because you don't have the like facial recognition as an actor may. Because you have like sometimes where you have a background actor and everyone knows that like, oh, I've seen you before.
Yeah.
Like, who is it? The chubby kid in the 2000s movies with the afro and like acne. He's like redhead. Do you know who? He's like the most famous extra, and he's been in all these Judd Apatow movies, all these American Pie movies.
I have no idea who that is. Or you see Jason Earls and
Yeah,
National Treasure. Like,
yo, I know who that.
I know that guy.
You see Michael Cera in Dream Scenario. It's like, oh, I know who that is. You see the one of Adam Sandler's friends.
Yeah.
So now we have. I wrote Jobs fun facts, but it's John's fun facts. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So the whole plot of this skit right here is that I've created one fun fact. The other 2 are true. I will not lie to you about the ratio. I would tell you if the ratio is off. But I've created one fun fact, and it's hidden amongst these 3, and you have to guess which one the fake fun fact is.
Okay.
And I will read these word for word typed up in my phone. And I go, number 1, Nick Cage would fall asleep between scenes and would pitch ideas that happened in his dreams for the director. Number 2, Nick Cage, like many of his roles, was able to pick his hairstyle for this film.
If that's true, that's crazy.
Number 3, this was supposed to be a retirement film cultivating in the movie Pig, made in 2021, which is him. I think they kill a pig and he's on like a revenge tour, something like that. Or I think they kill his wife. Something. It's a crazy movie. I've heard.
There's no way you made that one up, so it's got to be between the other two.
Unbearable Mess of Talent, 2022, and Dream Scenario, 2023. Those are all A24 films. It was supposed to be his last trilogy.
It's got to be one of the first two, because there's no way you came up with that last fact. I gotta go with the hairstyle one. I just don't believe that he gets to pick his hairstyle for every movie.
So, thank you, IMDb, because we are 1-0 in the John column for wins to losses for Ryan guessing this. Because the fact that I created was this was supposed to be a retirement film. I'm just kidding. It was number 1. Nick Cage would fall asleep between scenes and would pitch ideas to happen in his dreams.
That sounds so realistic, though.
It
That's
does.
honestly a great idea.
Yeah. And I came up with that while I was watching this film.
I'd be surprised if people didn't come into the set being like, hey, I had this dream last night. And they go,
oh shit, I dropped it.
That's a great idea. Let's shoot it.
Yeah, I wonder how random the dream scenes were because, I mean, they had the crocodiles or alligators.
No,
I'm not gonna get corrected in the comments, but they had the person laying on the bed and he just walks in, sees it, and then walks out.
I don't think there's any possibility that someone could come up with the idea, not in a dream, of a guy walking through a field full of people with tuxedos eating blueberry muffin mushrooms, being chased by a bloody skin man.
Yeah. So there had to be an element of somebody being like, hey, I had this dream, or if the writer, who was also the director, was like, hey, I had this dream myself, like, or he wrote it, honestly, to be like, oh, yeah, this happened to me.
Yeah. I really got nothing else to add. I guess we can go into reviews now. Also, the beer for today is
we
Busch.
didn't say that.
It is Busch. Just normal Busch. Last week was Busch Peach, and we dropped the peach, and now it's just Busch.
We should really say that before we start.
Yeah, we should.
I think we forgot.
Sorry to make you wait all this time.
We were talking so much. I really liked talking about this movie. I really enjoyed it.
I feel like there's a lot to talk about, even though I think we only talked for like 10 minutes and then went into Disney and Star Wars. But
yeah, I can't wait for this to be a recurring thing. We talk about parks and not movies. It's crazy how this podcast is.
Hey, I mean, that's what beer does.
So, what do you have for the... Let's start with the beer review.
Beer review. I mean, Busch might be my number 2 right now. Right behind Michelob Ultra. I think that's my number 1 beer. But my rating for it, I think I'm going to go with a 4.17.
4.17
for Busch.
It's
a lot higher than my last rating.
I
might even be a little bit too high.
I make that a thing for me to not have my current ratings in here, so I can't have it influence.
Mm-hmm.
But I think after drinking a lot of these big boys, because we're doing the 2-for-1 can. So if we're counting by twos, 2 for a lot.
We'll leave it anonymous.
I do have a number starting with 3 here.
Really?
But I think I might have to change the decimal. I'll change the decimal. I'm going to 3.77.
Wow, that's lower than I thought it was going to be.
So, I do like Busch. but I gotta leave room for it to grow.
This is lower than you rated Busch Peach.
Is it?
I'm pretty sure. I think you gave Busch Peach a 4 point something.
I think that's because I like fruit. I think it's because I don't want to say fruity guy. It is priceless, but I enjoyed the peachiness of the Busch.
Mm-hmm.
Busch Peach holds a lot of nostalgic resonance with me, and now we're getting into an in-depth beer review, which I also enjoy. But Busch. I mean, if you like the flavor of bread,
I kind of do.
I'm a big bread fan. I love garlic bread, but like, oh my god, how do you think garlic Busch would taste?
Oh no! Any garlic drink would not be good at all.
I'm going to sneak a garlic drink somewhere and see where.
There's no way people make garlic drink.
There has to be a garlic drink somewhere. I don't want to say like maybe Italy, maybe some weird place where they do like food testings. Maybe France. Maybe do they have it?
I can't find anything.
Nobody's been adventurous enough to try it out. But I think Busch, if you're honestly trying to...
Oh, Japan's doing it.
Japan's? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Japan.
Garlic cola is Japan's latest beverage flavor.
Okay. I wonder what that tastes like.
It can't be refreshing.
100 likes and we'll do a garlic cola review. I know this is dangerous.
We'll do it.
If we say we get fans one day and they're like episode 2, they say that 100 likes will give them a garlic review. That's crazy.
I don't know.
Like, but I mean, was it the one time Pat brought that squid jerky?
Oh my god,
That was so
bad.
I had fish jerky once from like, where was it? Pittsburgh. And I mean, it was dry, but like, at least you could tell it was like, you knew what you were getting yourself into.
Yeah.
But that squid jerky, the barbecue taste?
It was so... it was like fish barbecue, which...
I kind of want to call Pat up and be like, yo, what was the brand of that?
I could probably find it.
But like, Japanese squid jerky brand would probably be the... Hey, Jamie, pull it up. Speaking of, Joe Rogan's brought up in this movie.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Talking about cancel culture.
The packaging was so cool, though.
Yeah, it was like an old boat. Like an old, like, fisherman's boat. Really cool. Like, the branding was there.
Yeah.
It was just...
But it tasted awful.
I mean, I'm sure if you, like, lived in Japan and, like, you're used to those flavors because, like, as Americans, we love, like, cheeseburgers and stuff. And, like, we like the simple foods. But, like, I'm sure if you, like, ate that every day and, like, had stuff like that, I mean, I'm sure you would like it. But Busch Peach, I'm there for it. I would put Busch Peach above regular Busch, which I'm happy with that ranking.
That's interesting. Because I am the opposite.
Yeah.
What about your review of Dream Scenario? How do you...
So Dream Scenario, I wrote a number here.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with the number 4. Big fan of it. I had to make it unrounded. I originally had it at 4.75. I made it 4.76 because, like, we can't have round numbers. That's too easy.
That's really high up.
So, I was cruising around. I was cruising around 425 until the ending, and I'm like, okay, it came back.
I think it was a very nice last scene ending.
Yeah,
I think they brought it back, and that was very good. I mean, that had to have been the whole reason they implemented the dream bracelet thing.
The Nokia or whatever.
Yeah, was just for that scene. How do we bring it back? Originally, my rating was going to start with a 3, but after bringing it back up again, I think I am going to have to bump it up to a 4 something. But not as high as you. The beginning kind of brought it down for me.
Okay.
So I'm going to rank it a 4.21.
4.21.
Mm-hmm.
See, I can understand that rating.
Mm-hmm.
That rating, like, I feel like we should really talk about the ending because, like, we really didn't do that during our Star Wars review.
Very early on in the movie, Nick Cage and the actress playing his wife have a conversation about what she would like to have a dream of Nick Cage being in her head, and she's like, "Oh, I want you wearing this the talking head suit and save me from a disaster." And then that never happens until the very end of the movie, where he comes in wearing the big shoulder pad suit and saves her. And
it's a very bittersweet ending.
Yeah.
Very like, hey, maybe this is the best for us to move on.
And I think that is the last time that he sees her. I don't think he visits her again.
I think he ultimately, I hate to say it, ends himself.
I think he does.
Because all these bad things happen to him in the U.S., but in France, you can almost see him like back on his like famous horse, where everyone's asking him for an autograph.
But even in France, they're playing up the nightmare side. They make him wear the Freddy Krueger glove, and they like rename.
Did they make him wear a Freddy Krueger glove?
When you went to the bathroom, there was a scene where he went into his daughter's room, and she's like, "Everyone at school calls you Freddy Krueger." And then during his photo shoot in France, he's wearing this like metal glove and has like knives on the hand. So it's like a piece of armor, but it's Freddy Krueger. And then they renamed his book from Dream Scenario to The Man in Your Nightmares or something.
Which I'm happy that's how they brought in the title of the movie.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, I'm not like, I wonder if all of it was a dream, but I don't think it's supposed to be taken that literally. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's a very big cop-out in movies, like, it was all just a dream. Like, that's what happened in Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
That's what happened in a lot of other movies.
I think your analysis of it being 15 Minutes of Fame into cancel culture is what it's about. Yeah. They just went an artsy route with it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it does the dream scenarios nice. Do I wish there was more of them? Sure. Mm-hmm. Beau is afraid. I wish there was more fantasy in it. Like, what the fuck is going on? But I mean, I kind of want to do Beau is Afraid now, but like,
I think that's a movie I need to rewatch,
because I did rewatch it twice and I enjoyed it the second time a lot.
I forgot you want to go back again, because
my friends who were more into like what he liked watching or what they liked watching, like they like, I forget, Ari Aster. They like Ari Aster films, Midsommar and Hereditary, yeah. Mm-hmm. And they wanted to see this third film, and I'm like, okay, I'll go see it. Little did I know, my friends were like, hey, want to go see Beau is Afraid? And I was like, yeah, I don't want to get FOMO. So I went the night before, and I'm like, also, if you ever want to, this is great pickup advice, if you ever want to impress a girl, go watch a horror movie the day before you go on the date with her to the same horror movie. You know when all the jump scares are happening, you know everything's going to go wrong. It's the most psychological, manipulative thing that you could ever do.
Then you can impress her with guessing the plot.
Then you can be like, yo, I bet this happens. I bet his dad's a penis.
Never in a million years would I guess that about Beau is Afraid.
I think that... Now we're going to get into the Beau is Afraid. I think that's supposed to literally be taken as his dad was a dick.
I think, yes and no, but like, she doesn't really know who the dad was. He was just the penis that gave her sons. Like,
we watched the...
I watched a lot of analysis videos after I got home.
Oh my god, but it was a movie. This movie... also a movie.
Much better than Beau is Afraid, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Way ahead of Beau. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think our rankings show that, because I think if we were to go back and watch Beau is Afraid now, it would rest along the threes.
Somewhere in the threes, yeah.
I think I think for me at least, remembering what I do, probably a high 3. I don't remember exactly. But I think this director, I'm excited to see what he does. I'm not sure if he has any new movies coming out.
I do think the directing was great. There were a lot of very good shots.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Cage just sitting in a room by himself. Can't get any better.
The switching between the recording of the call and the conversation in the restaurant was very good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything technically wrong with this film. I think some of it may come from more of a story aspect, and I just can't put my finger on what I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
Because I did rank it a 4.76. So, like, I did enjoy this film. I don't know what it could have done better, but I'm sure it could have done. I think the main point to me was the gymnasium scene. But other than that, I think it did a great job. I think there's nothing. I don't think I can go out of this film wanting more, even though maybe a little bit.
Just a little tiny bit.
But, I mean, hey, it's just like a beer. Maybe to that next can, I'll get it. Maybe with that next movie, this director will get a 5.
Wow. What a way to wrap it up for
What a
us.
way to wrap it up. But, all in all, I think good movie. I hope we keep it up. I hope everything goes well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.